Hello friends, Roots and Vegetables, Men's Beauty Point Zero here, and welcome to Reading Your Stories Part Whatever, The Elements Part 2. Now, I did try and record this episode before, but I don't really remember what happened, and basically I tried to, on my microphone I put a noise gate on it because of the fans, which you can clearly hear, but that meant that my voice kept cutting out, and the only solution I found was that I could make it so you could tell what I was saying, but my voice sounded like someone had stitched it together awkwardly. It was just like pause and then just complete silence and then speaking, and I don't know how to explain it, but yeah. And so we're just going to deal with the fans because that sounds better than the weird cuts, but yeah. We're going to be reading chapters 6, 7, 8 and 9. Okay. Chapter 6, Sister Training. Before their planned attack on the town, they needed to make sure their sisters are ready and prepared. Shadow took Rachel for a walk to the underworld marketplace. Now practice running over these buildings, commented Shadow. I have wings, retorted Rachel, slightly confused. That is an excellent point, Rachel. Yes, but what if you hurt your wings? Go on, run, jump from building to building as fast as you can, responded Shadow. Fine, responded Rachel as she ran across the building with so much speed and then back. I don't think there will be a problem then, chuckled Shadow as she put an arm around Rachel and led her to another place. Pick up a stick, she commanded. Rachel picked up a stick and so did Shadow. Now let's practice. Shadow swung the stick near Rachel. She quickly thinking used her wings to fly up and out of the way. She then landed and stopped to strike from Shadow. She then tried to hit Shadow, but Shadow blocked it and got Rachel in the stomach. I've definitely gotten better at writing combat. You did well, but not quite well enough. Again, let's go. I find it so funny that, like, 14-year-olds will, like, publish books sometimes, and then this was the kind of story I was writing when I was 14. Like, this is just a mess that makes sense occasionally. Meanwhile, Layla was teaching Elkona how to fight using a flaming sword, casual, and chatting away as they were. Did you know each person with animal-like powers can transform into that animal? Said Elkona excitedly as she hit the practice dummy with the sword. That's kind of like the Animal Warriors in a completely different story, and that does make sense because I remember the people with animal powers in this story are kind of inspired by the Animal Warriors originally, which are other characters I have in a completely different story, but you know, it's fine. Really, can you? Asked Layla. Layla, you should know this. I need the gem of a hellhound. Rachel could tell as well. It is in a cave, but it is heavily guarded in case of supervillains with animalish powers, especially those ones in the news that do small thefts. It's all connecting. They're talking about the villain kids. But Elkona's still training hard. Yeah, they're not really villains though. What they do is small robberies. They don't have the guts to kill someone. Responded Layla in slight disappointment. Okay, Layla. Okay. Yeah, but they have potential. It's still breaking the law, so that still makes them villains, responded Elkona. Yeah, I guess you're right, responded Layla. Now let's spar. They began to practice fighting each other using wooden swords. They clinked together, each of them guarding more than attacking, till Layla charged and got in close. The sword is blocked by Elkona, then Layla tickles Elkona in the stomach, which causes her to drop to the floor laughing. That is a dirty tactic, but you go, Layla. Back with Shadow and Rachel. Rachel is now exhausted as she has been training all day long. Stop, shouted Shadow as Rachel collapsed to her knees. Rachel went to the bag she had brought with them, got a bottle of water and passed it to Rachel, who happily drank it. She then got a box out of it and sat down next to Rachel. Here, she gestured, giving the box to Rachel, who quickly opened it. It's an assassin's outfit, casual. It's so nice, I love it, smiled Rachel, quietly. It has an in-suit collar for when you're down here. The coldest it ever gets here is 33 degrees Celsius. I'm pretty sure that's still pretty simple, like, the underworld is hot. When Shadow's smiling. Do you have a collar? Asked Rachel curiously. I don't, and the heat doesn't seem to bother me at all, responded Shadow. I wonder why it doesn't bother Shadow. Let's get back, and you can try on that outfit. Meanwhile, Layla and Elkona had stopped training, and it appeared almost like Layla was giving Elkona a history lesson. Oh no, not history. This is the lore drop. You know the powers that are considered the elements, they have a very long history. You see, the elements are air, earth, fire, water, light, dark, death, and plants. Okay, so currently, in my current story, the runics, which are like the equivalent of this, are runic water, runic fire, runic fear, runic bravery, runic air, runic earth, runic calmness, runic anger, runic happiness, runic sadness. I think that's it. So death isn't really a thing, and earth and plants kind of got combined into one. Then there is the feelings, which are also considered elements a lot of the time. Bravery, fear, happiness, sadness, tiredness, and anger. Tiredness is not a current runic power, but a character does have it. But you see, long ago it was different. For one, there wasn't only one of each, or very few. This was inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, I remember. There used to be clans of each one. Then some stinking old hag of a witch. Okay, Layla. It was commanded by the government. They thought everyone had too much power, so this witch was very, very, very powerful. She made it so there would only be one at a time. There have been some rare cases where more than one person has gotten the power. This created a new thing though, potential. That's inspired by Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Potential ones who can inherit the power. Do you know how hot it is today? They asked Elkona. I don't know, it doesn't feel that hot. I would guess maybe around 18 degrees Celsius, responded Elkona. You will be shocked to find out it is currently 50 degrees Celsius. I don't think I'd be alive, personally, in the underworld. 50, shouted Elkona in shock. Now, what I was saying about potentials, they normally can't feel the heat that much and can handle a lot of heat. People that can control fire can tell who potentials are, and you, Elkona, are a potential. And you're not the only one who is. Devon is, which is quite obvious, and so is a lot of people in the underworld. But the one that shocks me most who is a potential is Shadow. Shadow, this bit's cool. Learning about Shadow. Shadow has just always been insanely powerful. Even now she's insanely powerful. Like, Shadow's just built differently. Like, I'd say current Shadow is stronger than current Layla. That's something that stayed consistent. But Shadow is undyingly loyal, so... The one that shocked me the most who is a potential is Shadow. Also, look at this, said Layla, handing Elkona a newspaper. Some heroes have been looking into Shadow, as she is now the most wanted criminal in the world. Oh yeah, this is the thing of... Yeah. Oh, I don't know why, I just think it's so funny, like, Layla being jealous of Shadow being more wanted than her in the world. Aquila, who didn't battle her directly but saw her in person, once stated that she is a potential person who could have the power of water. The twins of happiness and sadness also confirmed that she could have their powers as well. They could tell when watching it through the TV. Okay, that's interesting because the current runic happiness and runic sadness are not related in my current story. The current runic happiness is kind of going off the deep end, and the runic sadness is good, so that's always fun. Lisa, who was there with Aquila and actually fought Shadow and survived, states that she also had the potential to be the one who can control light. Did I mention that light was one of the elements? Yeah, I did, okay. I mean, in the current story, it's good and evil as opposed to light and dark. The one of air stated the same. I generally don't think I ever got far enough to plan who the one with air powers is. Graham, who was tragically lost by Shadow, made a last text before he died stating that she is a potential for controlling earth and rocks. Okay. Imagine you're just... I can actually use my phone because I'm not using it as a webcam. Imagine you're just dying. You've just been stabbed through the heart. And, like, it was said that Shadow killed him very quickly. So, like, his death was quick. Imagine you're just dying on the floor and you just go... You don't text your loved ones saying, love you, or goodbye. You just go, Shadow has the power, has the potential to become the Earth person. They're dead. Like, I think Graham has issues. I mean, his biggest issue is probably the fact he's dead, but you know what, it's fine. It's fine. The girl of anger slammed the door in our faces when we tried to ask her. Of course, that's the original Nera. I never got far enough to actually write about original Nera, though. Nera's in the spin-off. Lethan, the boy of Plants and Life, stated that, oh, so plants and life are the same thing. Well, like I said before, life is not a runic power in my current story. Stated the same when watching her on TV. And Cordelia, the girl of calmness, was busy. The others are evil, and currently we do not have contact with them. The others are evil, so they could not make it to this interview. Not only that, but Mortimer also said she was a potential girl of death. This is rare. If we all had the powers we were meant to, Shadow would be the most powerful person in the world. She is the Avatar. And she already has 2 superpowers, Nightmare and Fear, responded Layla. Wow, said Elkona in surprise. Shadow and Rachel had made it back to the palace. And Rachel went to try on the suit while Shadow fed Hunter and Witch and Ravenna for Rachel. Rachel went to Shadow's room in her new outfit. It was a pitch black outfit with a hood that could be put over Rachel's head. It had a tightly fit sleeve and looked so good on Rachel. I love it, and I love you, sis, exclaimed Rachel happily as she hugged Shadow. Shadow was happy that Rachel was comfortable hugging her now. Aww. Now go to bed, we have an exciting day tomorrow, said Shadow, smiling. Chapter 7, A Frosty Reception. Oh dear, I know what happens. Today was the day they invaded the town of Tauki City again. They all met in dining room. Devon was there, Layla, Mortimer, Elkona, Shadow, Rachel and their pets. They were all there. They all ate breakfast rather tensely and then went to go get ready. Then they all met outside the palace, Shadow and Rachel in their assassin clothing with both of their hair put in ponytails. Layla and Elkona in their vibrant red outfits, Devon wearing devilish armour. What does that even mean? Devilish red armour and a helmet that had horns on it. Walter in his normal suit. Man is dressed for war in his suit. The pets all next to their owner and Ravenna on Rachel's shoulder. Off we go now, said Layla as they exited the underworld. They quickly made their way to the city. They got to a building near the city centre, which Layla quickly set on fire, of course. There was a stage, in the centre of the town. They went there and stood there. Brilliant writing. As many of you may know, I am Layla, the girl of fire. Bow down to me, shouted Layla. Look, it's Shadow, the most wanted criminal. Oh, and that Layla. But oh no, Shadow! Okay. Turned around, sitting in fear. I refuse to kill an element to get any recognition around here, said Layla. Grab him, she said, pointing at the one who just spoke. Shadow walked up to him and grabbed him and dragged him to the stage. Put your sword in his throat, commanded Layla. Sure thing, Psycho. To his throat, not in his throat. Jesus Christ. I can read. Sure thing, Psycho, responded Shadow as she got the sword of shadows and pressed it against his trembling neck. I didn't tell you to speak. I told you to bow down. You want to die? Shadow, summon his worst nightmare, commanded Layla. You really do have something wrong with you in the head. Okay, Shadow. Let's see what your worst nightmare is. I can see it. It's your feet. No, your expensive designer shoes catching on fire. Well, your nightmare is now a reality. Okay. Muttered Shadow as his shoes slowly set on fire. She stepped away. Thud, heard Shadow. She turned around. There was a boy on a path of ice. Of course, Snowy. Now, if you don't remember, Snowy was in the Mailer chapter. He got, he got his leg cut off. What had gone thud, she wondered as she looked over and saw Rachel on the floor, ruby red blood pouring out of her. Shadow looked mortified. She ran over to Rachel. Witch and Hunter, my beloved pets. Bring that insolent boy to me, dead or alive, said Shadow as she tried to stop the bleeding. Ravenna also stayed near her owner. Hellhound, go get that boy, shouted Alcona psychotically. She has to do everything psychotically, of course she does. You hurt Rachel. You hurt one of my friend's sister. Some hero you are. You nearly killed an 8-year-old. Partly later, she shot fire at him. All the combined attacks made him fall to the floor, and he spit blood from his mouth. If I would have killed that villain that me and Blossom went to stop, I could have stopped her from being in a coma, thundered Snowy. He shot a shard of ice at Alcona. Layla saw this and used her fire, melting the ice shard. Are you the only hero you sent to stop us? Asked Layla laughed. After you nearly killed Aquilia, she went away to go train, so Lisa went with her. My girlfriend Blossom is in a coma thanks to that girl's bravery. Leafin doesn't live nearby, and neither do the others. Shadow killed Graham, so yeah, I am the only one left here. Yeah, because in this world, or in the original, not everyone has superpowers, so there's a lot less heroes. Maybe if I had killed that girl of bravery, Blossom wouldn't be in a coma, so give yourselves up, or I may kill you. Either way, I'll be hailed a hero, and you'll be left in the dust. That Rachel girl doesn't look like she's doing so well, does she? Remarked Snowy. It's just funny because in the current story takes place not in after. Actually, I'll tell you guys in a minute because we're about to get to that bit anyway. But Snowy and Rachel are kind of friends. And also, it's only a bit of time till the other heroes show up anyway. I'm tired of hearing him talk, yawned Layla. Shadow, what's Rachel's status? She's barely hanging on, said Shadow, her voice quivering, which was out of character for her to show emotions. Shadow unlocking emotions. Oh, is that so? Muttered Layla as she shot fire at him, causing him to fall over and become unconscious. Shall I kill him, my fiery princess? Devin asked Layla. I would rather the last thing Shadow hears not be your weird attempt at flirting. Oof, said Shadow mockingly. Get right to Devon. No, take him prisoner, responded Layla. Also, what can we do for Rachel? I can help her, but we have to go back to the underworld. This is your chance to really make the heroes listen and cause havoc, responded Mortimer. We shall return to the underworld. I will get another chance, responded Layla. Thank you, responded Shadow. They made their way back to the underworld, Shadow carrying Rachel while Devon held Snowy's arm behind his back. I thought he was unconscious anyway, as it led them there. They soon arrived back in the underworld. Mortimer took care of Rachel while Shadow paced up and down the hallways outside angrily and worried. Anxiously, I mean. Meanwhile, Layla and Devon escorted Snowy to the dungeon while Alcona went to go feed her hellhounds. A few hours later, Shadow was allowed to enter the room. The underworld doesn't really have healthcare or many doctors, so Mortimer had to use some bandages he found in the first aid kit that had been stolen from above because, of course, they can't get anything normally. He also had a sewing kit, so he gave Rachel some painkiller and began to shut the injury as if it was a hole on a sock. I do miss how unhinged my old stories are. Jesus Christ. Shadow sat down on a chair in the room by his sister's side. I don't want to lose you. You're the only family you have left. I love you, muttered Shadow. I love you as well, replied Rachel weakly. Rachel? How do you feel? Asked Shadow, rather concerned. Like death, but I'll be okay. Real. That's how I respond when people ask me how I am sometimes. Cried Rachel quietly. A few days passed and Rachel was able to leave the hospital, in quotation marks, as she needed Shadow's help to do a lot of things, which without them caused her serious pain. About a week later, that was fast. Rachel was as lively as ever, and a lot better. But now they need to decide what to do with the prisoner. Chapter 8, A Broken Boy. This chapter is not traumatizing and terrifying in the slightest. It would never be like that. Never. Never, ever, ever. Nuh-uh. It's not bad at all. I definitely don't remember explicitly what happens in this chapter before I even did the first attempt of filming the episode. Nope. No siree. Chapter 8, A Broken Boy. I suggest we kill him, shouted Devon. Where's the fun in that? We should ask the one he hurt. Rachel, what should we do with him? Asked Layla, slightly psychotically. I don't know. You can do what you want with him, responded Rachel quietly. Do what I want? Responded Layla, sounding like a psychopath. You shouldn't have worded it that way, sighed Shadow. So, no one's going to stop me from doing what I want to do, smiled Layla. Knock yourself out, responded Shadow. Rachel, let's get out of here before the crazy gets infectious. I loved Shadow. I still love Shadow, but something about original Shadow's insults are just... like, her current insults are pretty good, but, like, original Shadow just had, like, no restraint, I guess. So then Rachel left the room. What are you going to do to him, Layla? Asked Arcona. Well, I'm going to break him, I think, to put it simply, responded Layla. She has a lot of devil in her, almost as much as I do. Oh, my fiery princess! Why is that worse than the current thing he says? It's just fiery queen of hotness. Like, I just made it so Devon says that one thing, but in this one Devon has a lot more, like, flirty lines that, like, are different. Said Devon. I'm going to go visit our little friend now, smirked Layla as she walked away, her pets following her. This chapter is what made me hate original Layla, I think. I don't think for her current character a lot. I love current Layla. Screaming could be heard throughout the whole of the palace. It was driving Shadow mad. So she decided a walk would be a good idea with her pets and her sister. Oh yeah, they made Shadow the main character for the chapter because I didn't want to explicitly show the torture. I get some good family bonding time. They sat down by the bright red lava river that flowed through the underworld. Isn't lava orange? They began to talk about a lot of things and just got to know each other better. You know, one day this entire whole damn world is going to be screwed, said Shadow as she stared into the lava river. What do you mean? Asked Rachel curiously. One day our psycho friend Layla is going to be queen of the underworld. And Layla, I keep forgetting she isn't already queen in this one. And Layla will probably want to go further than that. I support the underworld when she can have the whole entire world bow down to her. I will always support her, damn, it's my duty. It's part of the reason I was kidnapped. Normally the firecrackers are mad. That's the one way to describe a runic fire. Firecrackers. Crazy even. They often need someone a bit more sane in their head who can calm them down and help them make rational decisions. I am the reason her kill count has stayed in the hundreds rather than being in the thousands. Hell, even if I had killed an element, which I did, if I wasn't here, other countries would send armies upon armies to help win against her. And chances are they probably wouldn't take her alive. I needed to kill that element. Me being the most wanted may take the spotlight off her, but the spotlight is bad for her. It makes her power hungry and greedy. Heck, I don't even know why the hell I'm supporting her. If she becomes queen, the world will not like her. No one will. She will turn the world into chaos. Support her or die kind of thing. But I mean, what would I be if I hadn't been kidnapped? I do wonder sometimes if I could have been a hero with the power I have. Oh well. But I'm going to support Layla because that is my duty as the girl of nightmares and fear. Anyway, in what universe do either of those sound like powers a superhero would have? Said Shadow, starting to go off on a monologue. Well, I killed people when I wasn't kidnapped, responded Rachel. Yeah, but me being kidnapped is what sent our parents over the edge, and it was a chance of luck. Like a flip of a coin. Every coin has three sides. What foster parents you got? And it seems like you got the short end of the straw with that, responded Shadow as she put one arm around Rachel. Yeah, I suppose so, smiled Rachel. Don't stress it too much. I was just making conversation. If anyone should know what I am thinking, it should be my little sister. Stuff has just been so much better with you here. Let's head back. It's almost time for dinner, responded Shadow as they got up and left. About 2 weeks had passed since their attack on Tauki City. Layla was still doing who knows what to Snowy. It was dinner time. They were all gathered around the table except for Layla. Where's Layla? Asked Arcona. Probably playing with her toy, responded Shadow rather bored and impatiently. Guess who's here? Shouted Layla as she burst through the door. Is it the food? I'm starving. Oh, it's just you. Could you tell the food to hurry up? Because otherwise I may have to summon the cook's worst nightmare. Okay. I need to like... Current Shadow still is kind of like this and really cool. Like, Current Shadow has not changed since Original Shadow, but like... Original Shadow just has so much more sass, I guess. I think I'll still... like... She insults you, my beautiful princess. You are looking amazing today. Shall I silence that mouth of hers? Responded Devon, giving a death stare to Shadow. Like I said earlier, try it. Fight me, chicken. Okay, that one was a lot weaker of an insult. Responded Shadow, staring straight into Devon's eyes. Both of you, stop it. We have a special guest. I think I broke my toy. Oh, I wouldn't say broke. I made some improvements. Snowy, shouted Layla. Yes, Your Highness, responded Snowy, who followed her in, but it wasn't the Snowy they had met on the battlefield. Now this is the difference I was talking about. In the current story takes place after Snowy gets tortured, but in the current story it wasn't Layla that tortured him. It was a completely different group. Now, on the battlefield, for one, his hair was barely white anymore, it was more grey and dirtier. His clothes looked extremely dirty, and his eyes looked like he was dead on the inside. He had a cross scar on each cheek, several burn marks on his arms, and a severe lack of fingernails. Did that subconsciously lay in the back of my mind and inspire Flare? Because Flare tortures people. Flare is in the spin-off. Flare tortures people by ripping out their fingernails. He didn't sit down until Layla instructed him to. Finally, food came, much to Shadow's relief. Layla, what did you do? What did you do him? What did you do to him? Asked Alcona curiously. Oh, do you want to know what? Oh, do you want to know everything I did to him? Responded Layla, sounding like a psychopath. Yes, I want to know how you made this masterpiece. Jesus Christ. Responded Alcona, also telling like a psychopath. We are eating. Please tell your psychopath in training. The details later, requested Shadow. Fine, responded Layla. During dinner they all talked about nothing in particular. Snowy was quiet and barely touched his food. He didn't speak unless he was addressed. He ate his food only when Layla told him to. Okay, final chapter for this episode. Chapter 9, A Queen Has Risen. I wonder what's going to happen in this chapter. Layla, Shadow, Alcona, Rachel, Devon, Snowy and their pets all decided to go for a walk around the underworld and visit a few of the stores and just have a fun day out. Snowy didn't take his eyes off the ground. They decided to sit down. They sat on a wall while Snowy sat on the floor and played with some sand that was on the floor. They chatted for a bit about nothing much. Shadow, could you pass me some food? Requested Layla. I'm not your damn slave, but sure, responded Shadow. She tossed Layla a sandwich. Suddenly Devon stood up and drew out his sword. She has disrespected you too much. Let me deal with her, said Devon, staring Shadow straight in the eye, at which point Shadow got up and walked up to him. Devon was tall compared to Shadow, who was of average height. That's different. Shadow's like tall in the current story. Like, she's like the tallest character, one of the tallest characters. I'm pretty sure she's taller than Devon, or current Lapis, because Devon is Lapis. She looked up at him and met his eyes. Like I said, try it, pretty boy. I do miss Shadow having a nickname for Devon that was like... And she calls him pretty boy, but the way she says it is so like... it's so cool. Responded Shadow as she drew out a sword. However, it wasn't the Sword of Shadows. You know you don't stand a chance against me, said Devon extremely confidently. Do you really think that is the case? I killed the third-ranked element. I'm not exactly weak, responded Shadow. So we're just going to stand here, or we're going to actually fight, pretty boy? Children, stop it, said Layla, laughing slightly. But my fiery princess, she insults you. How can you accept such traitorous behaviour? When Devon slightly confused. Because we are friends, and it's what friends do. They joke around with each other. Don't you know what a friend is? Responded Layla. I have no need for friends. The only person who matters in my life is the fiery princess, the one I am due to serve. I must protect your honour, as you are so evil and pretty. Responded Devon. Current Lapis, who is, because the name changed, he is also down bad, but he's not this down bad. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, current Lapis has friends. He's friends with Leo and Snowy and Echo, and he's kind of friends with all the Black Roses. Like, he's like closest with Leo. Leo isn't a character in the original story, so if you don't read the story, if you're not one of my friends that reads the story I'm currently writing, you have no idea who I'm on about, but that's fine. Thanks, I guess, but Shadow is not a threat to me, responded Layla. You gonna fight me or what, chicken? Asked Shadow. I will, it'll be dishonourable back down. I will cut out your traitorous tongue, responded Devon as you got in a fighting stance. Like hell you will, responded Shadow. She immediately used her sword to hit his out of his hand. He then slipped through the floor. Damn, where did he go? Thought Shadow. She decided to jump in the air, and she did just in time, dodging him. Shouldn't we try to stop this? Muttered Rachel, rather concerned. No, it will hurt Devon's pride, responded Layla, enjoying the fight and calling her pets. And during the fight, I call her pets to you. They shouldn't get involved. Now let's see, what does the devil spawn fear? Shouted Shadow as she used the blunt edge of her sword and hit him in the head. He stumbled to the ground. Shadow looked inside his mind for his nightmare. Let's see, what does he fear? Thought Shadow. I can see it. He fears... Ow! Thought Shadow. His nightmare is too damn powerful. What the hell is he afraid of? Damn it, my ability isn't working. He'll be getting up soon. I'd better just stick with my sword fighting abilities and my power of fear. Shadow saw Devon collapsed on the floor and she walked calmly over to him and held the sword at his throat. You think that you are a lot stronger than you are. Are you really Devil's son? Because I'm starting to have my doubts. You rely on the power you got from your father, that you have barely even tried out. You rely on being torn, using it as an intimidation method. Doesn't work on me. I am the damn girl of fear. You are the son of the devil, but to the media... media you just look like some lackey of Layla's, or some little puppy. All bark and no bite. Your sword fighting is like you are a little kid who picked up a plastic sword. You are Layla's apprentice, to learn, not to think that you are some all-powerful being. Learn how to fight, then challenge me, pretty boy. Because this fight felt like some angry toddler who was having a temper tantrum. For goodness sake. Said Shadow, how am I going to make Shadow have an insanely good line and then accidentally say, said Layla? Like, okay. But pop off, Shadow. She took the sword away from his throat and stabbed him straight through the arm. I'm not going to kill you, as I don't fancy having Satan as an enemy. But that injury will scar. That scar will remind you to be more careful in the future. But this will stay forever. Just a reminder. Just remember it. Next time you pick a fight. Shadow then placed the sword back in its scabbard. Wow, you're so strong, said Rachel as she ran to Shadow and hugged her. Then Witch and Hunter came over as well. Hunter, being a wolf, licked her face, and Witch just laid on her and purred. Your Highness, shouted a woman who worked at the palace. She had run there, her face red with exhaustion. Mortimer has fallen ill, very ill. He probably won't live much longer. Come quickly. That was sudden. They were hurried back to the palace. Layla, I think my time has come to leave this world, but do you know what? I think I have taught you all I can. However, there is someone I want you to find at some point. My daughter. You know that my power is that I have the ability to raise the dead. And have you seen anything about a girl who's been able to do that? I know who he's talking about, and if you guys remember, you should too. Asked Mortimer weakly. Yeah, I thought it was weird, as normally there is only one person of each element, so my brain took note of it. Do you mean Shimigala? That girl that accidentally raised the dead and got sentenced for grave robbing? Last I heard, she broke out of prison with the girl with wolf powers, the girl of bravery, and the girl who is half light, half dark. Responded Layla. Oh yeah, and I forgot the Girl of Bravery was on our side this time. And she is 16 as well, jeez. But normally you hear about people with that power being on the side of good. But it is good that we are on the same side, I guess, said Shadow. Yes, Shimigala is my daughter. I have no idea why her power activated earlier. If I hadn't, I would have asked you lot to find her and drag her here. And I would have to explain everything. But she would have probably been on the side of good. And now the justice system has failed her. She shall want to stay on this side. Around 16 years ago, I fell in love with a beautiful woman. She was the embodiment of a goth. Beautiful black hair. 2 years later, she gave birth to my dear little Shimigara. But she soon learned that I served Satan. She let it pass as something I made up, as goths were often thought to serve Satan. She thought I was trying to impress her. But then when my beautiful little girl was 4, it had been discovered who the new girl of fire was. It was my job to kidnap you. I thought my love would understand, as she was a goth. I thought my life would understand me serving Satan, because she is a goth. Goths get it. Goths serve Satan. So I brought you there, the Mortimer Weekly. I wonder how 14-year-old me just sat there and genuinely wrote that and didn't stop and pause and think, what am I writing? I thought my love would understand, as she was a goth. I remember going there and seeing a Shimigara. I think she was watching some anime that was made for children. Of course she was. She wanted Layla. Yes, my love wasn't home yet. Then she got home and freaked out. She called the cops. I left with you to the only place I could think to go, the underworld. I went back because, okay, my love can leave me, but I want my daughter. Turns out she had entered some kind of witness protection or victim program. The house was heavily guarded. I gave up. Raising 2 4-year-old girls would have been hell. But for every birthday she had, I sent her a present. I sent a present for her. And Christmas. I am 90% sure my love just said it was from Santa or one of the guards, but anyway. Layla, you are now the queen of the underworld. Here is the key to the crown, said Mortimer, as he passed her a key, and then he stopped talking. Shadow checked his pulse. He's gone. I'm sorry, Layla, responded muttered Shadow, but Layla smiled slightly. I've always wanted to be queen. Now I am queen of the underworld. We shall have him buried in a gold casket. Now let me find my crown. She went to the room where it was kept and found it. The crown was made of beautiful diamonds and a beautiful fiery orange crystal and blood red rubies encrusted into it. It's so beautiful. I am queen now. I am the queen, shouted Layla as she put it on. My fiery queen. It looks beautiful on you, said Devon in amazement. The crown is beautiful, but I don't know about the girl attached to it. Okay, Shadow, said Shadow, smiling. You are queen now. Are you still fine for insulting you? Said Devon, staring Shadow straight in the eye. Did you not learn anything earlier, pretty boy? Sighed Shadow. Shadow, shut your mouth, you damn half-witted slug. Devon, stop trying to overnight and shining arm. Will that crown be mine one day? Asked O'Connor in amazement. Possibly, wondered Layla. Wow, it looks so pretty. You look like a real queen, said Rachel, awestruck. Okay, now everyone's silent. Let's go make the announcement to the people, said Layla, smiling. Chapter 10, The Underworld Rebellion. We're not going to read that today, but yes. So next episode we're going to read chapter 10, 11, 12 and 13. Which is obviously the original Underworld Rebellion arc, which I'm excited for because the Underworld Rebellion arc actually made it to my current story as well, and I rewrote it and it's so much better now, and it's more than 4 chapters. But yeah. I'm going to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. So goodbye, friends, fruits and vegetables.